Hey y'all, I have literally wanted to make this video now for months, okay? I'm 43. No one could have prepared me for what happened to my body at the age of 35, okay? Let's just preface this. So this is what this video is about. I went into early menopause at 35. Don't know why, I just did. Now I will say my mom started at 35 and she was over and done at 41, and then my grandmother started at 34 or 35 and she was over and done at about 45. So April 6th of 2016, I had an accounting job and I was sitting at my desk, and all of a sudden I had tunnel vision. Like, it's like the room just stopped existing. Like, all I could see was just blur. And I couldn't breathe. Sorry, you guys, I have stuff in the back. I couldn't breathe. I literally stood up and stuck my hands out in front of me to see if I could even see my hands, because it felt like I was dying. I'm sorry for the trigger, but that's what it felt like. Couldn't breathe. My heart started racing. I started getting really hot and sweaty. My palms, my armpits, like, got sweaty. And this guy that worked there, he was an engineer, and he came out of his office and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And I couldn't speak, like, I couldn't get the words out. And y'all have to understand that before this day, I was fine. Nothing was wrong. No signs of anything. And that's why I was so scared, because it literally hit me out of nowhere, right? So he called an ambulance because he didn't know what to do. Everyone else was on lunch. It was just me, him, and a couple other people in the back. And 2 days before that, one of our co-workers was 55 and he had a heart attack and he did not make it. He was just gone in an instant. And so that's why he called an ambulance. So they take me to the hospital, and at this time I lived in Owensboro, Kentucky. Their hospital is phenomenal. It's one of the best I've, ever dealt with, honestly. And before that, I had been to the ER at the age of 19 because I had my gallbladder attack and had it taken out, emergency surgery, Other than that, no experience with an ER much. So I get there, and the doctor was so nice, but he said, "I really believe that you've had an anxiety attack or panic attack." He was like, "All your blood work came back fine except for like a little bit of low magnesium." And I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is not possible, because I know that I'm dying and I know what I felt and this and that. So April 6th, right, 2016. So I was a week shy of turning 35. I was still 34, but my birthday is April 13th. So I was a week shy of turning 35. So he sends me home with a script for magnesium, and I'm just like dumbfounded. And I felt like my adrenaline was just pumping, it was terrible. I felt anxious, on edge all night. I didn't sleep. And I believe the next day or the day after, it happened again. Sitting at work, all of a sudden, hot, sweaty palms, racing heart, tunnel vision. One of the ladies that was in the office, so sweet. I mean, she was so sweet. She was an older lady. And she said, "Honey, I'm just going to run you back to the ER. I don't know what's wrong, but I don't want you to sit here and do that, and I don't want you to have to pay for an ambulance." I had insurance, but you know how that goes. And she was like, "Let me run you out there and just get checked again, because maybe they missed something." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine," So I did. And again, nothing. Now, they gave me a bag of fluid, and when he gave me the bag of fluid, I felt better. But still no answers, still no abnormal test results, none of that. So this was April. From April to August, I had countless of these episodes. And eventually, so I had gone to the ER 19 times from April to August, y'all. That's how many I had. That's how scared I was. That's how many times I thought I was dying. And I'd never had a panic attack before in my entire life. Before that day, the first one, never. My brother did when we were kids. I was convinced I was having a heart attack every time, each and every time. So at some point, I conceded that I'm having a panic attack. They haven't found anything thus far. I had 2 thorough 100% heart workups. Like, I'm talking, I had to take the day off work. I did a stress test. I did a dye test. I did an echocardiogram. Like, everything. My heart was fine. I was like, this doesn't make sense. None of it. And so I resorted to, my boyfriend at the time was like, you know, I went to this therapy, this lady that does therapy when I was married before. And I know that she does hypnotherapy for panic attacks. Would you be willing to try that? She's $75 a visit, but she's really good. And I'm like, yes, I would try anything at this point, right? So I go to her, and she said, I'll be frank with you, she's 62 years old, hippie. I loved her so much. I don't remember her name for anything. I want to say, I don't remember her name. She was the coolest old hippie that I've ever met in my life, and I love her to this day. But I don't remember her name. So I go there, and she's like, now listen, I have a success rate of 3 visits, and they're $75 a visit. She said, but I don't want to keep taking your money, so after the second visit, if you don't feel any better, we need to explore other options. And I'm like, okay. Well, after the second visit, I was still having panic attacks. Because she said I would do a third, but after that, I just have to cut you loose if you're not getting better, because she was like, I don't want to keep taking money from people and, like, not getting results. And so on the second visit, I was still having them, and after that we met for a third time, and she said, well, let's talk about what's happening to you. And I told her, and you guys, when I say that I had about, I don't know, 50 to 60 symptoms, that panic attack was the catalyst. The first panic attack was the catalyst for all of these symptoms that I was having. She said, listen to me. She said, when I was 40 something, I went through much of what you're going through. And she said, I went to this hormone doctor because I was at my wit's end with this. And she said, it was rough. I thought I was dying. I was having anxiety 24/7, like doom feelings, like, you know, everything. And she said, they put me on progesterone cream and I was better. And so I'm like, listen, I'll try anything. Give me the name of this doctor. And so she did. Y'all, I went to this doctor, and they had another doctor before, long before, that was an NP, had tested my hormones, and she was like, oh, they're normal, you know. Well, she was looking at lab levels. She wasn't looking at the ratio of estrogen to progesterone. So I go to this doctor, this new doctor, and mind you, I'm in almost a year at this point, not knowing what's wrong. I've seen like 5 doctors. This would be my 5th or 6th one, besides the ER, okay? I mean, my insurance was amazing, and I was just going for answers, you know? So I go, and she checks my levels, and I come back a week later when the results come back, and she said, you are low on both estrogen and progesterone, and testosterone, but she said your ratio is totally insane. Like, you have way too much estrogen for how much progesterone you have. I'd like to put you on some. And you guys, it was like night and day. I started progesterone in a troche, which is, it dissolves in your mouth, because she said I don't do pills because those go through your liver, and your liver processes most of that, and your body doesn't get the effects of it. It doesn't get the benefits. She said, so cream or troche? And I'm like, well, I don't want to do the cream. She's like, well, we have more success with the troche anyway. So that's what she gave me. Within a week, I was better. I was still having panic attacks, but I was so much better. I was even sleeping some, you know. And I say all this because I would have never guessed this was perimenopause, you guys. Hold on a second. Apologies. I had to quickly refuse that order. But anyway, so I would like to let you guys know that, okay, progesterone it saved my sanity. I want to go over symptoms that I had, because I know someone out there right now is like, what the heck is wrong with me? I'm too young for this, or I thought I had MS, ALS, cancer, heart disease, anything, you guys. Like, I went through the gamut of things, and I would Google until I was like so sick of Googling symptoms, and like I would get down these rabbit holes in these forums where people talked about ALS, convinced I had that, MS, convinced I had that, I didn't, stomach cancer, because I all had a bunch of digestive symptoms. Like, it's crazy. So, panic attacks were my first symptom of perimenopause. Had frozen shoulder where I couldn't move my shoulder. I had nerve pain, nerve tingling sensations. Oh my gosh, so much nausea, either constant hunger or no hunger at all. I had what I call, and what other people now call, jelly legs, where you literally couldn't walk. I thought I was just done for at 35. I thought I was done for. I could not walk. I lost 50 something pounds with no effort. And I mean, I was eating, okay? Like, I was totally eating food and eating, not gaining weight. I was losing weight. It was so scary. My mom, I remember her, she lived an hour and a half away. She came to my house and I was just laying in bed, could not get up, okay? Could not walk. And I would have these heart racing episodes. I was having auditory hallucinations, weird dreams, sweats, chills. I would catch, like, I caught mono because my immune system was so crazy. The slightest exercise, if I got up and walked and I was able to use my legs, my heart would race. I would get hot, cold, whatever. I had histamine issues, intolerance, mast cell issues, which are histamine issues essentially, diarrhea, constipation. I would get dry heaves. I never threw up, but y'all, I would dry heave so much. And my mom came and she was like, honey, have you been checked for cancer? Have you been checked for anything serious? Because you don't look good. And she wasn't being mean. She was just really worried because she hadn't seen me. She knows what I told her on the phone. And my job, I took FMLA because I couldn't function. And I had many friends at my job that just turned against me because they didn't understand it. And now it's a blessing because those kind of people I don't want in my life. But these were people I hung out with. And, you know, my own boss at work, you don't ever need to be friends with your boss, because she and I were the same age and we hung out. And, you know, she was just finally like, when are you coming back to work? And I'm like, when I can walk, like when I can come in without having a panic attack. And I was so discouraged. I mean, they had me thinking it was my fault. This was all in my head. That's another thing. She's like, girl, it's all in your head. Just come to work. She was like, when I had my daughter, I was in the closet with the panic attack, just screaming and crying. But she said, I still had to take my butt to work. And I'm like, you don't understand. My legs physically will not go in front of the other. Like, they won't do this. And come to find out, that is a symptom of menopause. Pain, like debilitating bone pain, muscle pain, headaches, migraines, mainly just literally my whole system was out of whack, you guys. And the panic and the hot flashes and all that was so random. I would literally just be chilling on the porch with my dog or something, and it would just hit me, and I would just be pacing and screaming and crying and calling an ambulance. Like, it's crazy. But I wanted to make this video because there's got to be more than just me out there. And I know there is. I've been in forums and I've been on Facebook for this. But at the time I felt so lonely and so sure that I was dying, that something was like literally life or death with my body, and it wasn't. And lately, you know, the symptoms over the last couple of years, 3 years, have gone like this. They have not been steady. I haven't had a panic attack in probably 2 or 3 years, which is great. But I stay on my yam cream, which I've put in another video. I essentially moved away from that doctor, and I could go see her, but I just chose, you know, to just use wild yam cream because it works exactly the same as my hormones were working, and I don't have to pay for a doctor. She was like a holistic hormone doctor, and my insurance would pay a little bit on certain stuff with her, but mostly it didn't, and I had to pay out of pocket, and she's really expensive now. She knows her stuff. She got me my life back, and for that I'm so thankful. So if you guys live near Owensboro, Kentucky, I can give you her name. Her name is Stacy Head. She is top notch, and if I ever have issues like that again, I'll go straight back to her, but I have not. Wild yam cream from Amazon, and I'll link it in my description box, and then magnesium spray on the bottoms of my feet. I recently started that, like in February it'll be a year, and I sleep like a baby. There's a police officer, hang on. So all this is to say, perimenopause comes with insane symptoms. And y'all have to understand, for the most part, my periods were normal. They were very heavy, but they were like on time and everything. And only lately have they been messed up, like on schedules. Like I've had, a few months ago, I had a 99-day period. It lasted 99 days. And then I didn't have one for a couple months. And then this past one was about 4 weeks long, 3 weeks long. It just ended last week, and then I'm supposed to start again this week. So who knows, right? But, you know, people say, well, when your periods start being irregular and you get hot flashes, that's menopause. No, it isn't. For some people, it's insanely rough. And I have also read that if you have always had severe PMS or PMDD, that menopause will be, or perimenopause, I should say, perimenopause will be that much rougher for you. So I believe that. I've always had intense PMS all my life. I started my period at 11 or 12 years old. I believe it was 11. And so did my mom, and so did my grandma. Like, we've started early and then started menopause early. So I'm 43 now, and I'm past the age that both my mom and grandma, their periods ended and never came back. So I'm just like, when does this end? You know, now I got past the panic stage. I got past all of the insane symptoms and all that. Now I just feel tired, old, and dry. Like my eyes, my skin, my hands, other parts of me, I won't say, just feel dry like they do. And I'm not tired all the time, but you know, I do feel just like mentally tired too, like over it mentally and physically. My ADHD is a lot worse now than it was. I've had it all my life, but it's a lot worse now. My anxiety's kind of gone down because the wild yam cream and the magnesium, like, I don't have anxiety much anymore. But so things that I used to do, like crafts, I used to draw and paint. I'm a very good artist. Like, I used to paint murals for my church and for other people and stuff like that. There's no way I could focus enough to do that now. And I don't, like, all of the fun stuff that I used to do, like, as hobbies, I just don't have the desire anymore, which is very sad, but I've read that just comes with it, you know. I have hair in places that should not grow hair sometimes. I'm trying to think of all the stuff that this has evolved into, but that's, you know, those are just a couple things. I don't want anyone near me. I don't want to touch anybody. I don't want anybody touching me. I get very irritated with noises, and I've always had that too, but like, it's gotten so much worse. I can't deal with loud screaming kids or adults, even people with just a loud voice. Like, I'm like, can you shut up, please? Like, I'm trying to think of other stuff. Oh, I don't tolerate sugar, chocolate, vinegar, lettuce, any kind of salad, any spices. Like, those really make me have like insomnia, anxiety, headaches, things like that. So I process food differently. And you guys, that has to do with your estrogen. If it's dominant, but it's also low, and your progesterone is low, you can't eat the same stuff you used to eat. Like, it's just a whole thing. Your system is so off. The things that have worked for me to at least take the edge off and at least feel somewhat human and normal are, do not fast in the morning. Like, you have to eat breakfast, and it has to be high protein, high fat. If I get up and I eat either eggs and sausage or eggs and bacon or eggs and something, or I get, 9 times out of 10, I'm at Sonic when they open at 6 a.m. getting beef patties. And that's what I eat. Those make me feel human. I mean, just like the most human I could be. Get sunshine. Use good quality salt on your food. Those are my biggest things. And then the wild yam cream that I've been using, it's not just a progesterone substitute. It balances all your other hormones too. I got Indian Meadow Herbals. Like I said, I'm going to link it in my description box. It's really, really, really good quality. It's not crap. It's $30. I think it's 15 ounces or something, or it might be 2 ounces. I can't remember. But I've had this same jar since February of this last year, and I still have plenty left. It doesn't go bad. It still works. So that's a whole year for $30, and I still have a lot left. So the price up front might be daunting, but it is so worth it, you guys. Like, this stuff brought me my sleep back, my sanity, my anxiety is pretty much gone. It helps me not be irritable with people in my life. If I use it, I'm fine, I'm calm, I'm cool, I can handle situations. I can tell when I forget it at night because the next day I'm so irritable. And I don't typically try to use it in the daytime because it makes me really sleepy. So that's just a tip there. And then the magnesium, it takes it a step further where you're just calm all the time. So those two things combined have really made me feel human. So, and diet and exercise, all that's so important. I have to get fresh air and nature, things like that. So, other than the dryness and the occasional irritability, I'm back to my old self. I can work, I can walk, I can function. I don't have panic attacks. I don't worry about driving. In the middle of all of that, y'all, was scared to drive. I couldn't drive. Oh, sorry, it's Spark texting me. I couldn't drive. I was doing grocery pickup at Kroger, and I lived a mile from the Kroger then. Y'all, I was scared to drive to the store and pick up my groceries. I was in the house forever. Like, I would have my boyfriend go get it, or my son, he was driving. I would have them go pick it up because I was so scared to drive. It was crazy. So agoraphobia / fear of driving were two things. But I absolutely, at that time, developed hypochondria, or what we have to refer to as health anxiety, because I feel like hypochondria has a negative connotation to it, and we can't help it. It's physical. It has nothing to do with this. It's physical. So I hate that word, but I had health anxiety, hypochondria, whatever you would like to label it. I had that. Don't anymore. It went away a few years ago. But that is my journey with perimenopause. If anybody has questions that I haven't covered, ask me in the comments. I'm an open book. I'll answer anything you guys want to know. I don't care. It has been hell on earth for the last 2016 to now. That'd be 9 years. So for the last 2, I've been fairly normal, but those first 7 were just hell on earth. So if you guys have any questions, again, please don't hesitate. Comment down below. Ask me anything. Tell me anything. And I'll answer it. But I love you guys. I hope this has been helpful to somebody. You're not crazy. You're not dying. I can promise you that. So go and be well. I love you, and I'll talk to you on the next video.